Hello, this is Dread, and in today's video topic, we're going to be doing a very large, uncut, and unprofessional video today. We're just simply going to go about leveling a rogue, and I'm going to explain almost every single detail why I do it. So, this is going to be a long video. There will be timestamps. There will also be planners in the description for you to follow along, but the idea is you're going to see the entire process from level 1 all the way to around level 40, probably till we hit like the first boss, Abomination. Probably, I'm going to assume we're going to stop after A-Bomb, because after that you could just follow any of the Zero to Hero episodes of Rogue and be fine. Now, because of the fact that they changed how leveling will be working, because you can respec your mastery, meaning that I only have to make 5 of these videos instead of 15. So it turns out that's very nice. So we're going to be leveling as a marksman. The reason why we're going to be leveling as a marksman is not only marksman gets a massive 25% attack speed from its mastery passive, it also gets a massive 50% increased damage, which early on is a lot of damage. So here, we're going to kill this armored phoenix here. Make sure to kill him because he gets access to a bow. Sometimes you're not guaranteed a bow in the later stages of the game, so try to snag that bow. Now, early on, it is better to actually run the melee version of Flurry, mainly because it has like a cone AoE, while Flurry bow doesn't really have an AoE, so make sure to do that. Now, I do actually kill a few enemies in the first few zones here, because getting to level 3 is very important on Rogue in general right now, because getting to Acid Flask is important, because once you get Acid Flask, you have like good AoE clear. Like here, like we have pretty shitty AoE clear. It's just kind of how it is as a rogue. You're trying to cruise until you get access to Acid Flask, because Acid Flask actually has pretty decent AoE clear in the early game, and then of course you get Puncture and you're good to go. So we're just going to be doing the normal leveling and stuff. So how are you guys doing today? I'm doing great. The new patch is looking pretty good. I'm really happy about it. Here, like I said, just, melee attack things. That's just how it be. Nothing too crazy. One of the biggest things about Rogue early on is lack of sustain. So you need to try to run sources of a sustain that can keep you alive. One of the biggest ways of doing this is to abuse the passives at the bottom of Marksman that give you flat health when you utilize a bow attack and hit an enemy. That's actually one of the main reasons I actually go for this setup. Otherwise, I would go for like a different setup. But generally, I have found that using the HP when you use a bow attack and hit an enemy, those specific nodes is a good way of making sure that you don't instantly die. One of the biggest problems is damage over time is a killer, especially in like quote unquote Act 3. I don't know which act it actually is. I can't remember. But Act 3, there's a very large amount of damage over time. So some items that you're going to be looking for on the ground, silver rings. Silver rings give a very large amount of movement speed. You want as much movement speed as possible. Now for early on, you want as much attack speed as possible. You want your animations to not last that long. Uh, there you go, double silver ring, beautiful, right? Already at 17% movement speed. Movement speed is very important for Rogue, specifically because there's a node inside Rogue's base tree that gives you percent damage equal to the amount of movement speed that you have. This is important because movement speed is just very important for Rogue, not only for its defenses, like not getting hit turns out is a pretty good defense. Also, as well, you just simply want to get all of that nice juicy percent damage that you have access to at the base of Rogue's tree. Like, this is a ARPG after all. Doing damage is very important. Shift is a very good movement skill early on. It costs a little bit of mana, but not big of a deal. Shift just in general is just a pretty good movement skill. Here you can just use shurikens and pretty much let what's his name kill him. Grail, let Grail kill him. It's a little annoying early on. Once you have Acid Flask, pretty much the run is over. It's just really annoying to get to that point because, Shurikens and Flurry aren't very good skills. Here you can probably swap to Bow Flurry, by the way. It's actually probably better. There you go. Now we just use Acid Flask. So here we're actually going to just simply specialize Acid Flask, grab the more damage, grab the attack speed, and then eventually we're going to unspecialize out of Acid Flask and reach for Puncture. So Puncture is very strong. The reason why Puncture is strong early on is because ailments in the early game of Last Epoch are insanely strong. Just the amount of damage they can provide is just absurd, and Puncture is one of the best ways of stacking a lot of percent bleed chance thanks to the Bloodthirst stacks. That itself is enough to carry you all the way through early game. Thankfully, EHG made it really easy for us as we just get Puncture immediately at level 5, I think. So that helps a lot. Now, some of the other combos that we're going to be doing later is we're actually going to be throwing down a spinny Umbral Blades. The idea is we're going to be stacking a bunch of bleed chance with Puncture and then swapping into Umbral Blades, as that just, Umbral Blades can give us a very large amount of damage while we're also shooting out Puncture. The idea is we shoot out Puncture while also utilizing Umbral Blades at the same time, which just leads to just good gameplay in general. As you can see here, the AoE on Acid Flask is better than trying to use something like, let's say, trying to use Shurikens or Flurry. And also as well, it applies a stack of Armor Shred, which gives you more damage. I'm not entirely sure how much. I think it's a small, minuscule amount, but it also gives you a 100% chance to apply poison on hit. And like I said before, ailments are pretty strong. And it also has a hit component, meaning that not only are you doing it hit damage worth, you're also doing damage over time, which of course, as you can see, is very effective early on. I went the wrong way because I'm really dumb. Of course I did. So sometimes I am going to go quiet and just play the game. That's mainly just because like there isn't much to talk about in general, because it's just doing the same thing that we were doing before. Here we get to this part of the zone. Here we get access to Puncture. Now for Puncture, we're just simply going to re-specialize into Puncture, grab the bleed chance. So here it has I think it has a 30% chance at base to get bleed and then a 30% duration of bleed. Hit Puncture does less damage per subsequent enemy hit. You can pretty much just completely ignore that line. It doesn't really matter that much. But here, so you want to use your range as a marksman. Unfortunately, we don't have access to any of the life sustain stuff. So your life sustain is very poor currently. So you want to like play a little bit more skittish. You don't want to like engage things too quickly. Don't want to engage too many enemies quickly. You just simply want to take your time, let the bleeds do their work. Simply just relax. Have a cup of joe, relax a little bit. Use your range. You have pretty good range as Puncture. One cool thing is you can actually just go backwards and have enemies line up towards you, and then Puncture can skewer them all. That's very useful. As you can see, like you can just simply line up enemies pretty easily by using Puncture here. You want to be looking for those really nice shots, right? Here we got our Steer Axe, Burning Sky. Here you just simply side to side. Side to side. That's all you need to do, side to side. One of the easier Steer Axe kills in the game. By the way, we're not going for speed. I'm pretty sure you can guess for that at this point, but there's no point in trying to go for speed when we're trying to, explain every single little tidbit for you guys, right? Just want to shoot, move, shoot, move, shoot, move. With WASD, this should actually be easier. Right now, early on in the early game, just put on whatever gear you can like literally put on. It doesn't matter. Always be looking for shrines. Some shrines give you like insane benefits like storm bolts or something like that early on, and that ends up just like clearing the entire zone for you. Lots of extra XP. Now here, enemies in this zone are insanely overtuned, so it's much better just to run past them all. There are better enemies later on that give you better experience per hour or whatever, like a better experience. So it's much better to just ignore them. Here, we do have to kill these guys because they'll follow us into the next zone. So, like I said, though, use Puncture's ability to skewer things. Now, something interesting is that boss over there, it doesn't actually spawn until you walk over there. So you can actually kill his ads before you summon him, and then the fight gets a little bit easier because of that. Also, as well, for some reason, there's a bug where like he doesn't get hit by the projectiles or whatever. It's kind of just really annoying. I don't know why it's there, but yeah, there's like a bug. So try to get over here instead. Use your shift, use your evade. Evade's really strong. It's why I was put in the game. Very strong mobility option for all the classes. Here you go. Beautiful. What you're looking for on the ground, you're looking for bows with attack speed, percent damage over time, or fizz percent damage, bleed chance. That's mainly what you're looking for. Quivers, you're looking for the same exact thing. Dexterity works as well, as dexterity is percent damage for all your skills. You want movement speed on boots, and the main thing is physical resistance early on. Most enemies do physical damage. If they punch you, it's physical. If they poke you, it's physical. Odds are it's physical. If it's not physical, then that's fine, but most of the time it's physical. Sometimes it's elemental, but most of the time it's physical. Sometimes it's void, but most of the time it's physical, or it's a combination of both. Sometimes it's physical and it's void. Doesn't really matter. Mainly, getting physical resistance makes you feel significantly tankier. Getting lucky with a few drops here and there allows you to pretty much like not die constantly. This on top of good sustain will allow you to simply blast through the early levels and have a much better time. As you can see here, I'm lining up things. I'm stutter stepping. Smoke bomb is important for later, as you'll see. Pretty much put that on your bar. It gives you haste when you are in it, and it blinds enemies. It's very, very, very useful. There is a personal stash down there. So if you feel like as though you're going to be out of gear for some reason, you can go down there and grab that personal stash. I usually run past it as there's not too much good stuff in there. But yeah, you just like smoke bomb is going to be very useful. It gives you haste, which is 30% movement speed while in it. That's very good for the nodes later on. I'll talk about where you get percent damage based on your movement speed, and it also blinds the enemy. Blind got buffed, buffed significantly. Enemies that are blinded can no longer apply critical strikes to your character, meaning that you don't get one tapped from random nonsense anymore. So it's very useful early on to abuse. So here we're just waiting for him. There you go. And this animation usually takes a while. So if there was any like dancing MTX, I would probably like use it right here, right? Cool. Mm. Oh, Mr. Rogue. Beautiful. All these nice passives. So for this, you actually want to put a passive here, then a passive here. Then we're going to be grabbing agility for the massive amount of percent damage that we'll be getting later. As you'll see, it's very integral to making sure that you do enough damage early on, as scaling percent damage off your movement speed is great when you're in the portion of the game when you're trying to scale movement speed anyways, which is good. Rare enemies always have a chance to drop a rare item. As you can see here, they dropped a Venom File. Having extra chance to apply ailments is insanely strong early on. as it just gives you a very large amount of damage. So make sure to do that. Like I said, rare enemies drop rare items, so if you're going to kill something, probably focus on the rare. Like I said here, you just want to do the same thing. Now, lizards. Lizards are the most important thing while leveling. They give you insane amounts of gear for very little amounts of effort. You want to be killing your lizards. If you see a lizard early on, kill it. Not only does it give access to a bunch of gear, it also gives access to a bunch of shards and a bunch of shattering materials. Mainly, runes of shattering and glyphs of hope are your most important useful items early on. Get that shit off my bar, baby. Now, one thing with a puncture, we actually press the attack first. That's because we get 20% attack speed. As you can tell, my attack speed got significantly better. Significantly better the moment I grab that. That's because Frenzy is a very useful buff. See, lots of stuff here, lots and lots of stuff. We did actually pick up a quiver with percent physical. This will apply to our bleeds that we apply and also apply to the flat damage on our bow. So that is a very good pickup. Also as well, another passive here. As you can see though, our attack speed got significantly better the moment we grabbed that. We're already at 42% bow attack speed. That is very good. We don't have any runes of shattering, I believe, but this is just a good item to pick up because it has percent physical damage and percent chance to bleed. Dread, why don't you use loot filters while leveling? Because not enough loot drops. Legitimately, not enough loot drops. Shrines like this that give you a chance to apply ailments, you always want to grab these. Makes the early game feel so much easier. So much easier. So much easier. You can kind of just run through here. That's a personal stash down there. Normally, that personal stash is insanely strong for almost every class except for Rogue. Rogue doesn't care about it because Rogue just gets access to Puncture, which is superior to almost everything else in the early game. Even if they nerf it in half, even if they nerf Bloodthirst, Puncture will just still be generically better than everything else because rogues get all the fun tools, right? Rogues get all the fun tools. Whew. Sorry about my voice, by the way. I just woke up, but we got to get this done, right? This will probably take like a few hours at most. Here, we're actually going to be specializing into Smoke Bomb. I used to specialize into Shift, but I found Smoke Bomb to be better for specific reasons, mainly to get access to Hidden Blows. Hidden Blows is a node that gives you percent chance to bleed with puncture when you're inside your smoke bomb. Turns out early on, it's very strong. Here we're going to be filling out this attack speed. Attack speed is love and life and everything that you want, so you want as much attack speed as possible. Here you go. But yeah. Specializing Smoke Bomb to get access to Hidden Blows, lots of puncture bleed chance. Later on, we'll be replacing this with Umbral Blades, but right now we want this. Here, lots and lots of ailment chance, also blinding him so he does not crit us, which would suck. Use our mobility, of course, put down our Smoke Bomb. I don't know why it didn't let me evade through him. That's weird. I guess you can't evade through his fat ass. That's understandable. See, the more you know, the more you know. So here he actually goes pretty heavy DR. Even when he's in heavy DR mode, you can just apply ailments to him, turns out. Doesn't matter if he's in heavy DR mode, you can just simply stack up the damage while you wait. As you can see, my attack speed already is like insane. Also as well, kudos if you drop a beer. Beer obviously is superior to the normal health potion as it gets you buzzed. Yeah. No. Sometimes he's just kind of annoying because I can't just like evade through him. There you go. As you can see, hair specs orient down. Very easy. Not too hard. Now, this is going to be an uncut version of the video, so we're going to do this all uncut, uncensored. Literally the entire thing. So I'm going to put down a timestamp for myself. Beautiful. And then I'm also going to make a snapshot of my character. We're going to make this almost as simple as possible, as people have been asking me, how do I go about leveling? So we're going to make this as easy as possible to understand. We're going to give you as much information as humanly possible. Here we go. Act 1 is done. Beautiful. Like a bulls. So the void enemies, they're actually generically easier than the divine era enemies. Most of them, anyways. There are certain ones that do very copious amounts of physical damage that you want to be wary of. We'll point those enemies out here. So here, the idea is just kill stuff while you can. If something is too tanky or too annoying, simply just ignore it. Of course, if there are squishy rares like that dude right there, you want to be killing it because they could drop a rare item that helps you out. Getting a rare bow with attack speed, bleed chance, or whatever is a massive buff early on here. As you can see here, just simply abuse the fact that we're ranged. This guy here, this kind of rare, is actually insanely tanky for literally no reason. Even on the leveling setups where I have insane amounts of damage because I got lucky with my gearing or whatever, he's still absurdly annoying. So don't feel bad in skipping enemies that EHG made way, way, way too tanky. Here's a rare that you can kill. Didn't get anything, unfortunately, but you know, it's how it is. Like I said, you want to be popping those rares as they do give you access to a loot pool early on, chances to get decent items, very useful items. So all of these, like I do my leveling process very specifically. I've been doing it this way for the past 4 years. There might be a way that's better, but my muscle memory has been doing this for the past 4 years and I refuse to change. Here, cooldown, not what we want, not what we want, not what we want, not what we want. So whenever that happens, when you get a bunch of items you don't want, either you kill it for shards, shards are useful, or you just skip it. Right now, in the current version of the game, I simply want to skip it. That's actually a lot of percent damage over time. We'll grab that for later for Runes of Shattering. But generally, I skip them because it's not worth the time killing them. Unless if for some reason you're like really, really, really desperate for shards. Usually I'm not, so it's not that big of a deal. But sometimes you might be desperate for shards, you know? It's just how it is. As you can see here, abusing the fact that puncture can go through multiple enemies. Another thing, like I said, ignore those rares. They don't give you enough to merit killing them. They're very annoying. You'd be better off just running past them. Lizards are worth killing though, so you should probably kill lizards. Puncture is actually pretty good for killing lizards early on. There you go. Beautiful physical resistance, damage over time. So this is good because it has damage over time on it and HP. This is good because it has physical resistance. Pretty much. Physical resistance is love and life. Having enough in the early game makes you feel super tanky in the late game. Lots and lots of physical res. You want it all. And any amount of percent damage is good damage for you early on. You don't have access to much percent damage, so just grab as much as you can. No movement speed there. Level 10. There you go. We get access to decoy. Decoy is very useful early on as it allows you to skip a few zones in terms of dealing with very annoying enemies. There's certain enemies in the void areas that are just like you just rather not deal with, to be honest. It's not worth your time. Remember, you're a wily rogue. You get to choose who you fight. Also is nice to like stack up enemies as well. Stutter stepping is very useful in the late game because learning how to do it is very good. Being able to move around while you stutter step is good. Remember, WASD isn't going to feel nearly as good in Path of Last Epoch than it does in Path of Exile 2. That's because you can't attack while moving. So every time you attack, you're simply going to stop. So make sure you remember that when you're doing like WASD and stuff, that like it's not going to feel as good as you think it's going to feel. Trust me. Lots of ailments, lots of damage. Good to go. Not worth it. Cool. You get to remove shattering, so we can actually shatter this. Beautiful. Here, we're going to put chance to bleed on our quiver. This is a good base because it has attack speed on it. Beautiful. Lots of chance to bleed and percent damage. Beautiful. Here, you're looking for physical resistance mainly. Physical resistance idols are best in slot. So like I said, we're going to be speccing into agility. Agility ends up just being a large amount of percent damage because right now, with our smoke bomb down, it is 47% increased damage, which doesn't sound like much, but it's a lot in the early game considering you get no percent damage unless if you have it on your gear, right? That is a lot of damage. Here we have another Harbinger coming up. You do want to kill this rare because it could be good. Lots of enemies stacked up on each other. Definitely want to take advantage of that. Try to kill as much. Here you go. Fizz pen with puncture. Free damage early on. Might as well take it. Beautiful. Lots of free damage. Lots and lots and lots of free damage here. Now, I'm going to try to go for Deathless. I can't promise it, but I'm going to try to go for Deathless here. Nothing we want, so banish. You could actually kill it for the shards and all that, but in the sake of speed, I usually do not. Maybe later on, if they ever nerf early game drops, it will matter a lot more, but right now, it does not matter much. Here, grabbing that massive 50% bleed chance already. That is insanely good. And the percent damage. Our damage just got a lot better. I'm gonna pop these guys, throw a dummy, throw down smoke bomb, try to hit them all at once. Lots and lots of damage. Lots and lots of damage. Get it all in. Get all that juicy damage in, man. Try to at least line up 2 of them at once when you're trying to kill them. Try to line up 2 at once. Can't wait till I do the Primalist one of these, where this takes like 50 hours on Primalist, while here it's like insanely quick. Always look for better upgrades in terms of your rings. Movement speed is king, so you want to be getting as much movement speed as possible. As you can see, damage is pretty good there. Damage is pretty good. We're going to talk at the gas bar here. Hello. Get those extra juicy points. Always look at the shrines if we get like damaged shrines or whatever, because those can make you go much faster. Here we do drop a Hell's Reach. This is good for you early on. This is good. I'm not going to pick it up, but it is good for you. That would be better than what we're wearing. This is actually also very good as it has a bunch of flat HP. Pebbles is the Pebbles set, which is awful. I'm going to not pick up any uniques that I drop because that is not good. But I will mention what uniques are good if they do drop. So common uniques that would make the run go a lot easier. Bleeding Heart is your number one pick. Bleeding Heart allows you to leech from all of your damage, which means your damage over time, which means it's much better. As you can see here, getting that smoke bomb in, getting all that percent damage, lots and lots of damage here, lots and lots of just damage stacked up in general. Beautiful. Lets us kill a very large amount of mobs at once. As you can see here, lots and lots of damage. We have another lizard here. We're going to kill all these mobs real quick, and then we're going to kill this lizard. Chase down the lizard. Lots of Glyphs of Hope. That's what we want to see. Glyphs of Hope allow us to keep things alive early on. We did actually get a Rune of Shattering. Trying to go for that damage over time shard to upgrade our amulet here. Beautiful. 32% increased damage. Lots of percent damage already that we're getting. It's one of the strengths of Rogue early on is as long as we stack some percent damage, like we're in the clear in terms of stacking damage. Here, you want to put down your smoke bomb, put down your decoy. And the Idol of Ruin should go bye-bye very, very, very quickly. That's physical resistance that is superior to the 9% in the damage there. Physical resistance is God. Literally, it is the best thing. You want to be going for physical resistance. Here, we're going to split our points in between this, but then we're also going to be grabbing 1 point into Cadence of Death and then 1 point into Mutilate now. Mainly, the reason we do this is because bleed pops on that node specifically allows us to get a large amount of HP back when we're running around. Dying 2 damage sucks, and we don't have a leech early on. So trying to not die is the most important thing in general early on. Not dying to damage. Here, I don't even think this one's good. Oh, it's like okay. I forgot how good this was. It's like okay. It's not like the best here. Right now, I'm currently looking for a bow upgrade. Any bow with like any decent stats on it is already an upgrade. Just looking for a bow. Like I said, I don't use loot filters because not enough stuff drops. And also as well, I'm just good at reading the items on the ground. I don't need to make a loot filter for leveling. Trust me, I've leveled way too many times for it to matter. But for you, you'll probably end up wanting a loot filter eventually. I just don't usually need one personally. Until I get to the campaign. Until I get to the monolith. Once I get to the monolith, I actually need a filter, which we will be talking about for this thing. And I will be posting it down below, but trust me, it's going to be very bare basic. It's not going to be like insanely good. Just simply what we need to get to where we need to go. Remember, put down your smoke bomb when you're doing stuff like this. That relic is actually pretty good. Uh I don't know if it's better than physical resistance. I put physical resistance very high on the totem pole. Here's the savage. Oh my goodness gracious, that is an insane bow. That is like coup de grace, like the best in slot for us early on. Lots and lots of percent damage. That bow could carry us all the way to A bomb for this character. So that's nice. Very nice. Also, lots and lots of percent damage. Now, here is where I would break my own rule and actually go for damage, because that's a lot of damage. We can't wear it till we're 15 though, so it's fine. Definitely want to slam some physical resistance on that though. More damage over time, very, very good for you. Yeah, that was lots and lots of good stuff on the ground there, baby. Now we're gonna go fight the Deuterino. Oh, sorry about that. Oof. Now, if you want to continue this character once you're done with it, I will be leaving a link down below to a 0 to Hero run where I did Bleed Hail of Arrows, which is essentially an extension of this build. Now, of course, if you don't want to play that, the new Heartseeker stuff looks very strong. I'm probably going to be cycle starting it, depending on what else we see. As you can see there, movement speed and cooldown, very good combo. Already 26% movement speed. Remember, we're a rogue. That's already 26% increased damage on our character. Well, once we get all those nodes anyways, of course, right? Once we get all those nodes, gives us lots of damage. Lots and lots of damage. It's what we want to see early on. What we want to see early on. Yeah, we're going to be going for bleed pop early on, mainly because pretty much sustain early on is the most important part of any character, because there's going to be some enemies that do a very large amount of poison damage later, and we want to be ready for that. Here you go. Put down our pool here. Attack with the puncture here. On our smoke bomb. Move outside of the range. Keep hitting him. Throw a dummy over there. Not the quickest kill ever, but it's still good enough for us. Let me wear this 13. It's kind of inconvenient. That's kind of inconvenient. There you go. More physical resistance never hurts to pick it up to shatter later. More bleed chance. More percent damage. Access to a much better bow. We are going to just slam that with percent physical. Very good bow for us. Very, 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 very good bow for us. If we don't drop it and lose it, that would suck. Kind of like how Perry dropped his red ring that one time. Ha 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 ha. The OGs, remember that? Here we have access to the mastery. So, why are we playing as a marksman? This line, 5% increased attack speed up to 5 stacks. Lots of percent attack speed. 50% increased damage while wielding a bow. Now, I think Falconer leveling is better, I'm pretty sure, but this is how I level. So we're going to be grabbing Marksman. Woo! Marksman is very good. Boop. Beautiful. I will be making a stop whenever we respec anything, right? Whenever we respec anything, I will be making a stop. Because I do have to make sure people know what we're doing in that regard. So here, picking up all requests, all that juicy gold, which means I can grab more of this. Look in the vendor for anything usable. Nothing crazy, it seems. Oh, that is physical resistance and percent damage over time. We can actually shatter this. I'm gonna be shattering things that have like both things per se. Yeah, we're waiting to put that on at level 15. That relic is really good. This is where things get a little more difficult. Sorry, I'm yawning. It's been a long night. But yeah, this is where things get more difficult. These guys, Hollow Druons, they like applying Tingling Roots to you. You can evade out of it, but you can't like move out of it. So you gotta like use your evade or whatever. Definitely not something you want to get caught in for sure. As you can see here, damage is ramping. We have, as you can see here, lots of percent damage now, lots of attack speed, huge buff to just all of our damage and everything. This is why I choose Marksman. Like I said, now you can respec later if you want to play anything else, but this is how I personally level. I'm pretty sure, Burb leveling is better, but I don't like Burb, so like whatever. If you want to level as Burb, this is not the guide for you. It's a guide for people who want to level as marksmen and blade dancers. I've found that like leveling as a blade dancer is just better as a marksman for early on because of that massive mastery bonus. Now, of course, if you want to go like Umbral blade shadow daggers, it could be better. But like I'm personally a fan of this leveling spec. Of course, you can disagree with me all you want, but this is my video, right? Me leveling as a marksman. Another nemesis. Always check your nemesises. Always check your nemesises unless if you're under threat of life. So this is the thing you would kill a nemesis for. This is like an extra 10% movement speed. I would do it and kill it and grab it, but we are simply going to banish it. Goodbye, sir. But that would be insane. You would grab that and get the movement speed. I simply did not because for the sake of leveling, I want to show you guys what it seems as though you are at the bottom of your luck, the worst luck you possibly could have. Because like all the rares I'm wearing, you're going to get rares. You're going to get rares with like percent damage. You're going to get rares with like whatever, right? You're going to get all of that, but you're not guaranteed uniques. You're not guaranteed OP leveling uniques at all. As bleed chance on hit, we'll grab that. We're going to be grabbing Sapping Strikes. Sapping Strikes gives us a lot of HP when we use a bow attack or 0 mana skill. Allows us to sustain early on, this on top of the puncture thing, and this on top of the base passive here, draining arrows. A marksman is how we go about not dying as a marksman. Not dying is very important. I found out you could actually take this leveling a lot quicker than I'm currently going. Like, you don't have to actually spend as long as I'm doing all of this. I'm just simply taking my time because I'm trying to represent what it would be like for a new player to play the game. Simply just showing you how I would go about leveling here. These gloves insane physical resistance. Going to pick those up. We want as much physical resistance as possible, already at 27%. As you can tell, whenever enemies hit me, I don't take that much damage, which is exactly what we want to be having. As you can see here, this is where enemies start to like group up on you and stuff like that. So copious usage of your decoy is preferred. Putting down your smoke bomb is preferred for that percent damage boost, and also as well the bleed chance boost. As you can see here, that guy is not very good for your health. So said, simply dodge their abilities, use your evade. I can see we're taking a lot of damage here. You simply want to just bob and weave, get out of the way, grab this movement speed. Obviously, you're not always going to have that, but movement speed shrines are insanely strong. Grab them every single time for the most part. You want as much movement speed as possible. Movement speed, movement speed, movement speed. Leveling can be just like pretty much boiled down to movement speed S tier, physical resistance S tier, percent damage S tier, and then of course attack speed if you can get it if you're like playing that kind of build, right? Depending on what kind of build you're playing, right? That's build specific. But damage, physical resistance, movement speed, and of course, filling out the rest of your resistances while you can and getting HP and all that. But, like, you know, of course, you get that where you can, obviously. If you can't get it, you can't get it. You get it where you can get it. Already to 26% movement speed, which is a good start. Of course, if we grab that one ring, would be at 36% movement speed, which would be insane. That's endgame movement speed already, which is good for us. We're going to check this. Although these guys I was talking about, the festering cultists, they are insanely toxic. They are very toxic. They do very large amounts of percentage damage to you. You want to be ready for them. Here, we're going to put on dexterity. Well, we can't put on dexterity, but we would have if we could have. Here, getting all that juicy percent physical resistance already at 24%. So here, grabbing more sapping strikes. This zone, you want to like just kind of just run past enemies. In general, you don't want to spend too long here. This zone is too long. If you die, you'll end up at the beginning of the zone, right? Which you don't like. Keep your decoy on your bar for as long as possible. Don't throw it on cooldown here. Kind of just bob and weave. Don't let the enemies touch you, pretty much. Evade through them. You can evade through these enemies, pretty useful. And then there you go. At this point, this is where the game gets a lot easier. That was one of the harder zones in the game. There are specific zones that are actually harder than this one, as I'll point out later on. But right now, those are the harder zones. As you can see, we have so much damage that we can pretty much kill everything we care about easily. Beautiful. Now we have these stupid pillar things to deal with. Level 16, we'll get access to Umbral Blades. As you'll see, we'll be respecking in a moment. So we will make a pit stop. Like I said, those festering cultists are insanely annoying. So make sure to kill them when you can. They're not fun. Sure, why not? We're going to be unspecking out of this very soon, so it doesn't matter. Always want to kill the festering cultists. They are disgusting. They do very large amounts of damage. And if you're not ready for it, they can kind of like swarm you and you will take a lot of damage. That was very annoying. I think the soul repository crit me there and I took a lot of damage. As you can see, That's what happens when things crit you. You take lots and lots of damage. Of course, spawning enemies after enemies after enemies. Lots and lots of enemies. Just juicy meat bags for their experience, right? Void thralls are actually annoying as well. They do decent amounts of damage. Nowhere near as amount as damage as the void cult, the festering cultists, though. Oh my god, look at how many spawn, dude. Ugh, God. Imagine you're a new player. It's so many of those fucking things. Disgusting. Get out of here. Disgusting ingrates. All right. We'll take that bleed chance. Physical damage, damage over time as well. So if you're gonna improve physical resistance anywhere, chest. The chest gives you the most physical resistance per bang per buck on all of your gear. If you want to upgrade physical resistance, upgrade it on your chest. Get a chest with physical resistance on it. Get a lot of percentage out of it. It's very good. Okay. No, they're nemesis. Umbral blades, we're immediately going to respec, but I need to make a snapshot, so that's what we're gonna do real quick. So, oh, more enemies, of course. The bane of my existence. More enemies and more enemies and more enemies. Please, just let me do my work, please. Let me do my work. Thank you. That snapshot. Beautiful. Unspec out of smoke bomb. Specialize into Umbral blades. Grabs 1 point Dawnfall, 1 point precision cuts, 1 point sword thrower, then eventually 1 point in cacophony of steel. So we're going to take that snapshot here. Post it in my little Discord here. Beautiful. Level 8 to 16. Then we make a respec into Umbral blades, which I'll make another snapshot for, just to make sure everyone has exactly what they need. Rogue leveling. $16 respec into Umbrals. Beautiful. Now we're just simply waiting to swap back into a decent Umbral setup, which will happen in a moment here. Oh, enemies. Generally want to fight the nemesises without other shit trying to ram you, because generally you don't want to have a party, right? Like that. So you can actually throw a decoy like that and keep running, and you can end up not dealing with that many enemies because of that, which is nice. As you can see here, lots of damage we're taking from the fucking festering cultists. They just do that much damage. Festering cultists are disgusting enemies. Very disgusting. Making sure we killed everything. All right, did. Trigger him. As you can see here, we can actually do a decent amount of damage with Umbral Blades. The main reason why is because this massive 250% more damage modifier slapped on it, which makes it technically better than Puncture for that specifically. We did not get the extra level into Umbral Blades, which is unfortunate. Yeah, we did not get the extra level into Umbral Blades, but that's fine. Oh. Gotta talk to you. Yeah, once we get access to this, we'll be doing great. So Umbral Blades, the reason why this is so strong is because when we put down Cacophony of Steel, which is like the little blade storm thing, it means that we can just simply walk around a target and let it do the job. It's very good for just killing stuff while we're moving. Very useful. As you can see here, we can post a thing there. Even with as you can see here, even with that 250% more damage, we still end up doing plenty of damage because of that. We throw another thing there. Beautiful. Even without it, we do so much damage with this specific node that it doesn't matter early on. Cool. But there's going to be a reason why we go Blade Storm, as I'll show you later, because of its insane synergy with Shift. Now, I usually like to go through this zone here, specifically the Abandoned Tunnel. That's because it gives you access to 2 skill points. All the other zones in the game, I don't do the side quests for the most part, unless if I need to. Mainly because, like, they're not as useful. But this one, not only is a lot of experience, right? Because there's a lot of decent, chunky enemies here, but also as well, it's just convenient. That has bow attack speed on it, but it's not better than the bow that I currently have, but it does have bow attack speed on it. So we'll grab it for later when we get better bows and stuff. See, we get access to Mutilate, and then we get access to Blade, Spinny, and this is where the run pretty much ends, man. This is where the run pretty much ends. You have all the tools you need to finish the run, but we're going to keep going anyways, right? Because content. Sapping strikes plus, like I said, Mutilate here allows you to face tank enemies pretty easily. Don't have to deal with that as much. All of that global damage just makes the Umbral Blades just chunk for that much anyways, which is very nice. As you can see, plenty of life gain from all the bleeds that we're applying, thanks to Mutilate and all that. Just throw down an Umbral Blades on their feet. Just completely delete everything in the game. They could nerf this by another 50%, and it would still be insanely strong. So nerf me, EHG. Watch what happens. I'll just level with Burb instead. Yeah, very strong leveling spec. As you can see, lots and lots of life sustain. That's what we want to see in our video game. Because poison is a bitch. Damage over time is getting nerfed in end game corruption, but it's not like enough to like early game. It's still a pain in the ass. Every build has to deal with it. It's very dumb and annoying. And then at this point, now we can just scale as much damage as we possibly can get. Right now, we're looking towards to getting Loathing to have homing Blade Storms, which make our clear a lot better, as having the little Blade Storm home in on enemies just allows it to actually hit the targets we want it to hit. Then it kind of like allows us to turn our brain off when we're aiming. Like I can just aim like right there and it'll handle that pack, aim another one there, that'll handle that pack. Like that would be the way to go currently. And just grab like 1 point into evasion for the less damage taken while moving, and we're good to go. I'm going to take this moment real quick to grab a soda. I'll be back in a moment here. Sorry about that. Very professional of me. As you can see now, this is why we are running Puncture, because Puncture gives a lot of global bleed chance. Just all of this just scales really well with each other to the point where it just feels very good to play. Which is like the most important part about this all, is feeling important to play. Watch out for those Void guys. That Void Spinny Blade does a lot of damage. So you generally want to stay away from that thing in general. Grabbing that Blade Storm duration, that AoE, so that god damn it. It's annoying. There you go. Okay, then we're going to start grabbing the bow attack speed and the health gain when we use it. Like I said, health sustain early on is very low for most builds, so having a way to sustain your health is very important early on. Very, very important. I'm not looking forward to doing the Primalist one. I'll tell you that much. Oh, the Primalist one. What unique was that? I want to talk about if it's worth picking up or not. No, that is not worth picking up. Not worth picking up. They do sell for 500 gold each, which is pretty okay, but like you get out of this part of the campaign where you need gold for like shatters and all that very quickly. Pretty much Lich, I mean not Lich, sorry. I thought Lich because I saw the fucking harvest. But Rogue in general just has enough damage on everything that it does that you don't really need to focus too hard on your gear. You just need specific pieces, things that just give you percent damage and movement speed, and you're good to go. Being able to scale on, of course, movement speed makes you just so much better as a class overall. It's really nice though, since a lot of our damage is either generic physical or generic percent damage, and actually scales our bleed on top of our Umbral Blades at the same time. Umbral Blades does a decent amount of damage, even ignoring, like, fucking, literally ignoring the bleeds, right? Even ignoring the bleeds does plenty of damage. Once we get homing blade storms, it does feel so much better. Our third specialization slot is going to go towards shift. The reason why we specialize into shift is there's nodes that give our next attack after shifting a lot amount of damage, and this will apply to the entire blade storm. There's a node that gives you 75% bleed duration and 75% penetration with bleed, which will apply to every single bleed applied by your Umbral Blades for the entire duration of the skill. This is why this build functions so well, is because shift is a very strong skill. Combo rogue is a very strong archetype. That's a lot of physical resistance and movement speed on the same pair of boots. Immediately pick up that. That is amazing. Already 49% physical resistance. This is about where I would start focusing on grabbing necrotic res on your gear. That's because necrotic is the next zone, necrotic damage. The entirety of Act 3 is all necrotic damage and elemental, with some portions being poison. Specifically, like the Majasa area is filled to the brim with poison. That area specifically is the main reason why I put so much emphasis on sustain. Sustain is insanely important in this game because of that. Trying to not die is absurdly important. Bleed pops allow us to kill things much quicker. Technically, it's not better in the end game when you have access to percent damage leech, but early on you don't really care about that. You just want as much sustain as possible. So here, grab 2 points here. We're grabbing 2 points here eventually. This will apply to, of course, Umbral Blades, and this will also apply to Umbral Blades, and these will also apply to Umbral Blades. All of these nodes will apply to Umbral Blades, which ends up just being a very large amount of damage for free. We are going to be picking those up because they have movement speed on them. We want movement speed. We want as much movement speed as possible. Movement speed is love. Movement speed is life, and so is HP. Very good pickup on those boots. So now we're 30% movement speed, 49% physical resistance, 344 life, and a boatload of damage. Always what I want my rogues to be. Now here, this is where once you get a decent amount of bleed chance, you actually get to the point where you can just like shift Umbral Blades, and use puncture every so often. Unless if you need like the sustain for some reason. But yeah, like I said, we're gonna try to go for Deathless, but I'm not promising anything because like it might not go Deathless. We'll see. It's really RNG based. There are certain enemies that they spawn with the increased damage prefix could wreck your day. Could fuck you up. So here the combo is use puncture, shift Umbral Blades, shift Umbral Blades, shift Umbral Blades. Reason why is because we get that massive percent chance to bleed on our Umbral Blades here, which will apply for the entire duration of your Umbral Blades, which means you end up getting a very large amount of damage by doing so. Always want to be killing those lizards. It's also another good thing about this build. I remember that you don't really care about mana at all. Mana is a non-consequential thing about this build. Mana, you really just don't care about it, which is good because caring about mana sucks early on. What's really nice about the Umbral blades is the fire and forget nature. Being able to just turn your brain off and then, like, throw out your Umbral blades and stuff like that is just so convenient. Very, very, very convenient. Another unique that's very useful early on is the Bleed Belt Thorn Slinger. Not only does it give you movement speed, it also gives you percent chance to bleed generic. It also gives you plus levels to all physical skills, which puncture and Umbral blades count as physical skills. So they're actually very convenient. Now that we have the homing, as you can see, we enter a whole new era of rogue build, as now we just fire and forget. Look at that. So convenient. So utterly convenient. Of course, we're grabbing all the nodes inside shift. So like I said, always shift before you throw your Umbral blades for maximum damage output. Hello, sir. And he's dead. Look at that. That is Act 2 done. That's necrotic resistance. We're slamming that puppy on there. Thank you. We want as much necrotic resistance as possible now. That's necrotic resistance. I will take that for later. Beautiful. Beautiful. Remember, white items actually do start out with a decent amount of stuff on them. So make sure to abuse that while you can. Yeah, we're going to do this and do that while I make the next snapshot, while also making a timestamp. So this is 112. Cool. Let's make a snapshot here. And this is pretty much where the build doesn't get many changes at all. Like, pretty much if you just take this and then just follow the planners, you can like just go all the way through to end game. We are going to finish the leveling, but this is about like where it doesn't really matter anymore. Like your build set up, you're good to go. You can slam a jamma, not that big of a deal. So if you leave now, I understand. Gotta drink some of that stuff so that I can actually continue talking. So Act 3 is a little annoying. Um, Act 3 is where damage like just fucking just catapults. Damage against you catapults specifically. And it's a very annoying thing to deal with for a lot of different builds. So just be very wary. Things will try to kill you in this zone, whether that be with copious amounts of damage over time or copious amounts of hit damage, necrotic hit damage. As you can see, we do have a decent amount of necrotic resistance and physical, but the unfortunate part is there are a lot of enemies that do separate portions of elemental damage, which we don't really have access to mitigate currently. So that's why sustain is so important. So here in this zone, you see these bone sculptors, they'll like summon enemies for you. You just want to just run right past them, dude. They're not worth your time. Watch out for these mortal hunters. They deal more damage to living humans, which unfortunately you count as a living human. I never tested it, but I don't know if you count as a living human when you're in Reaper form. As you can see here, we kind of like balance the plus levels through the stacks and the flat percent bleed. You just want to like balance those two things. More attack speed, juicy attack speed. As you can see, like we have 97% attack speed, which is like Zooey Mama, really, really good. I will say leveling as a marksman early on every single time is kind of the main reason why I cycle start marksman so much. Like, it's just so fucking good. And you just compare it to every other class, it's not even worth it. I'm probably not going to end up doing a Sentinel version of this. I might, depending on patch notes, but it's weird. Watch out for this guy. He's killed me a few times with that damage over time beam. He's not fun. He's not fun at all. Like I said, on gear now, you have a pretty good understanding of what you need on gear. HP, percent percent damage, bow attack speed, bleed percent chance. Watch out for this guy. He does copious amounts of damage over time. Thankfully, we have so much damage we can just delete him, but be very careful. Be very wary of those skulls. They do a lot of damage. Be very wary of those skulls. Movement speed, percent physical resistance, resistances, movement speed. Like, that's pretty much what you're looking for. Everything else doesn't matter. Will the loot filter help with this? Yeah, but it's such a small portion of the time that I play that I usually just don't care about it. We are entering the portion of the game where I can just simply shift, throw down Umbral Blade, shift, and I don't have to like cast punctures often. Unless if there's something like tankier, right? Font to the Erase, it's actually a pretty decent one. Not for this specific build, but for others. It's actually one of the premier ways of getting a cheap way of getting a bunch of sustain early on. It's not good for this specific build because we're not dumping our mana, as you can see. But for other builds, Font to the Erase is actually pretty goated. Like, for instance, Avalanche Shaman is a good one. That's a good one. Like, I'm trying to think on the top of my head. There's a few Sentinel builds that'd be good on, right? Acolyte, it'd be good on because you're constantly sucking up your mana for Chthonic Fissure. That ends up being a lot of ward for free. So there's like decent specs that would want to use it. We would want to use it on this build, but the problem is we're not sucking up enough mana, right? It's not enough mana to be sucking up. As you can see, those Bone Sculptors, like I said, they have copious amounts of HP. You just want to ignore them. It's not worth trying to kill them. They don't drop anything of interest, so it's better just to run past those guys. Watch out for those wisps. They do a lot of damage. Grimoire is useful for a bunch of flat damage if you're playing something like that. Plus levels to puncture would be good, but it's not good enough now that I care. I'd rather have resistances and HP on my helmet. We have plenty of damage to get us all the way to the end game. Now we just need uh just better like resistances and stuff, because not dying is important, especially in the end game. Like I said, we're trying to go for this Deathless. We're trying to go for this Deathless, but like, I don't know if we'll end up doing this Deathless or not. We'll see. Poison damage is sucky. So is lag. Lag sucks too. Thank you. Beautiful. Anything good. That ring is pretty good. This is the one time where I would suggest taking off a silver ring and swapping into this ring, mainly because we don't get much access to elemental resistance early on. So just having elemental resistance is good, any amount of it. Like I said, Umbral Blades just simply mops up everything, lets you just run all the way through. Even if they nerf this damage by 50%, doesn't matter. They could nerf it by 80%. It would be a little weird, but like that doesn't matter for you. Pretty much what I'm trying to say is it would be very hard for them to nerf this without utterly removing it from the game. So this is going to be a solid leveling spec for a very long time. We're going to own Blade Dancer. We're going to grab Pursuit, mainly because the 5 passive bonus on that, the threshold, is movement speed, and movement speed is love. Movement speed is life. Just like Shrek, right? You know, I saw the Shrek 5 teaser. It's kind of weird. It's such an easy bag if they just like stayed with the original Shrek stuff. They didn't change it much, but also as well, like there was supposed to be like they did need to change stuff, but like the animation style was never something I complained about Shrek, right? Shrek was like my problem was just simply Shrek 4 was just a bad movie, right? So they could have just, I don't know, made Shrek just better. This is where Umbral Blades gets insane, by the way, because Jagged Cuts, 50% increased duration and 50% increased penetration. Turns out both of those combined is a lot and a lot of damage. Normally, I would look at the Harbinger, but in this zone, you just want to not take damage. I'm going to grab the rest of the AoE for Blade Storm. It increases our clear, so it's definitely something that we want. Juicy, juicy amounts of movement speed. Want it. I want it now. Speaking of movement speed, hello. Movement speed is love and life. Don't need that. Getting all that nice juicy bleed chance. Getting mutilate early on just solves all of your sustain on top of sapping strikes and on top of the other node that I can't think of, the draining arrows. Yeah, draining arrows. That's what it's called. Draining arrows on top of the sapping, on top of the mutilate. It's just so much bloody sustain that keeps you alive. Here's a rune of ascendance. I would use that on boots. Early on, I would use them on boots because there's really good boots. Like I'll show you here. Odds are you end up with a banger. Not that one, but like all the other ones are bangers. Pretty much all the other ones are bangers. They give you very large amounts of movement speed for low amounts of effort. Like the Storm Boots give you like 30% movement speed. Atera's Path gives you HP and movement speed. Talhoun's Mirage gives you a lot of movement speed. Pretty much everything just gives you decent amounts of movement speed for the level that you get it at, which is kind of what you want right now. You want as much movement speed as possible because that's the only thing that's stopping you at this point is movement speed. Sorry that I'm getting a little bit boring at this point. It's not like as if there's anything to talk about other than what's on screen because we are running out of things to do with our rogue because pretty much now you just turn your brain off. There are certain zones later on that are a bit sketchy that you have to like pay more attention to not die in, but like it's not that big of a deal. Really not that big of a deal. I have the Imperial Dreadnought here. Oh, gotta get those stretchies in, right? I just woke up earlier. Those guys are disgustingly annoying. Stay away from them. That massive amounts of lightning damage is crazy. Like I said, Metropolis is good when in Act 1 and Act like early Act 2, but like once you get a pair of boots like this, you drop them. Normally I would kill the lizard here, but this node this area is slightly dangerous because of all of the enemies that are here. So it's much better to just simply run past everything and ignore it exists. As you can see, we take lots and lots of damage from enemies here, so you just want to not just be here. Pretty much just don't be here, pretty much, right? You just don't want to be here. Wish our wraiths had that melee attack. See that melee attack where they do like that stab? Wish our wraiths had that, dude. That'd be great. Grab that bleed. Lots and lots of bleed, chance and duration and penetration. Making our our Umbral blades do a lot of damage. Ugh. Remember, you could also use decoy to trick enemies and walk past them. Instantly pop. Beautiful. Literally instantly popped him. Very funny. Pretty sure this is better than the chest I have on, but I can't put it on till 30 anyways. Hi, Harton. How's it going? Go and tag my dummy, please. Thank you. Oh wait, he's dead. Huh. Oh shit. don't stand in those dot pools. He was gonna murk me there, dude. I didn't have any potions or anything. Alright, this is where the game gets significantly more difficult. Damage over time is a killer. Here, the scorpions, don't let the melee attack you. These things don't let the melee attack you. They bleed and poison on hit. They're disgusting. Those hydras, they can apply hydra poison. I believe the rare ones can apply hydra poison. We're gonna skip the nemesis here because we want to not die. Trust me, it doesn't look like it, but these things do a lot of damage. I'm simply not letting them apply damage to me, but they do very copious amounts of damage. Trust me, you don't want to be standing in any of that. They're very disgusting. Very, very, very disgusting. Wing Carrion, they do a lot of damage as well. They also don't drop anything when they die, and they're very annoying to kill. So you generally don't want to kill those. Like I said, run. Run, run, run. You don't want to be near any of this. This is all very, 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 very like scary enemies. You don't want to be touching any of it with a 10-foot pole. Ignore him. Not worth it. Go past. Get away from all of the enemies here. Same thing here. Pretty much anywhere where these kinds of enemies are around, you just simply want to ignore them. Because they just do that much damage. Here we're gonna be grabbing pretty sure we're gonna be grabbing the what is it called? Bleed chance here. There's generic bleed chance there, which is useful. Nice movement speed. I'll put in points later when we're not at threat of our own life here. As you can see, the Umbral blades All of our sustain makes this zone much easier than it would normally be. As you can see, lots and lots of sustain, allowing us to not instantly mark ourselves in this area. It would suck if we did. Thankfully, there are other ways of going about this if you need to. If you really need to get through this zone without taking much damage. But this is just one of them. Curse of Perseverance is actually a pretty good staff, just not for this build. You need plus levels of LP on it, though, to make it very good. As you can see, every time I stand still is a chance that I can die. So don't stand still, kiddos. Don't stand still. Just run, run, run. Run as much as you can. More bleed chance. So here is more damage. Well, actually, we'll grab the bleed chance first, and we'll grab the more damage here for the next ability after shifting. So now that's all done, we can grab HP from Wilderness Scout. We don't care about damage right now, I'm sure you can tell. So we want as much HP as possible, so Wilderness Scout is the way to go. You see here, Umbral Blades cleans up, allows you to simply keep running without needing to stop. Our gear is good enough that we can afford to not look at every single item on the ground. I don't know where my Umbral Blades went, but it disappeared. Very annoying. There you go. Goodbye, sir. Hopefully they don't nerf my leveling spec. That would suck if they did. I mean, like I said, it would be so hard to nerf this properly. You'd need to do a lot. Just remove Bladestorm for the game, but even then, I'll just find something else to do. It's not like as if Rogue is out of options, right? Very interesting, very interesting fight developers have with sweaty tryhards like me, you know? I wonder how they think about us, the people who play their games too much. What do they think about it? It's interesting thought. There you go. Make sure to pick up that passive. The quest bugs, meaning you can complete it by just simply going to that zone, which is nice. Of course, they'll probably fix that, so you have to do the side quests, but you can leave the side quests for later. You don't have to actually do it early on. Just having that extra passive point is just convenient, right? Even when I don't shift, my damage goes through the roof. Over there, buddy. Ow. Bye. Goodbye. Yeah, they're so not going to nerf this. Totally. Totally not going to nerf this at all. Normally, I don't go with Mutilate, but if you're going for hardcore like I am here, you want to go for Mutilate, specifically this node, because it just ends up giving you so much life. It's so important to not die, right, in this video game. Beautiful. Bye bye. How long has it been? It's been like an hour and 30. We're doing okay. You could go way quicker than this if you cared, but like I said, I'm trying to describe everything I'm doing and trying to make it look semi-realistic for a new player, right? Who doesn't know what they're doing. This is better than the chest I have. 56% resistance. Beautiful. Lots and lots of resistance. The rogue base types have really improved since the past few patches, dude. They're like so much better now. A rogue base type with like 30% physical resistance at level 32 is insanely strong. This guy is annoying. Those fizz dots are obnoxious, so usually you want to stand out of them. Don't want to be sitting in those fizz dots at all, dude. Oh, nice. Swap this out here. Getting that Ellie res is important because, you know, elemental damage is a killer later on. Game, thank you. I was like, please, 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 please. Please don't kill me. Usually I take this quest later on, so I don't have to take it later. Thank you. We will be coming back for that passive point, right? Grab your free passive point here. Lots of HP here, lots of dodge. So this is the most dangerous area in the game, as you can tell. Lots of percent fizz damage, lots of ailment damage. I'm gonna ignore that Glyph of Despair. It's not useful. Although if you do actually want to grab that, but I'm trying to go for a hardcore here, so not dying is very important. You don't want to die. Not here, anyways. You want to keep your Deathless tag, which requires me to not to do anything. This zone really sucks. I'm sure you can tell by my song singing voice. This zone is not fun at all. This is why we have all the sustain on our character. Oh my goodness. Having no pots and running into that sucks. Like I said, I know it doesn't seem like it, but all of these enemies can kill you with a simple click. So run past them, especially these stupid blood asps. They really don't like you this zone. This zone is so disgusting, dude. Just in general, for anyone who's trying to speed run the game, this zone sucks. Titan's Canyon gets a lot better though. And that was the hardest zone of the game for the most part. That's at that point, the game is just easy after this. Everything else doesn't is not nearly as difficult. Oh. So that would be nice. I'm not gonna grab it though because the chest that I have is better. Speaking of armor, I'll take that, sure. I'll take the armor. The more armor you get, the better because it reduces physical damage by 21% and all other kinds of damage by a little bit less. Reducing the amount of physical you take is very important, especially for a rogue early on. You don't want to be taking damage as a rogue. That would suck. Your EHP is very low early on. You definitely don't want to be taking damage. No, nothing good there. Grab that last Bleeding Fury stack. Right now, we are currently at 414% chance to bleed, baby. That's a lot of percent chance to bleed, man. That's what we want to see, man. That's what we want to see. All that percent chance to bleed. Chronomancer Shrine is like one of the best shrines early on to get. Lots of attack speed, lots of movement speed, slowing enemies, everything you could possibly ever want out of a shrine, dude. Hi, buddy. Hi, buddy. That was Zarek, one of the more important characters in the campaign, and he's dead. Yeah, like I said, at this point, you're guaranteed to win. At this point, you get it to this point. We're gonna go for that because we don't need Void Res right now. Void Res isn't important until the second monolith, which we won't be doing for this video. But like, of course, it doesn't really matter that much. Beautiful. Let me through. Thank you. Goodness fucking gracious. Anything useful here? Frailty's cool. Frailty's pretty good. Frailty means you can take less damage. Frailty's always good. Yeah, now we can kill this guy. Ward when you create a shadow is very important for certain leveling builds that I play. So definitely something to be looking out for. Ward when you create a shadow. Very nice. Uh shit. What am I? Oh yeah, bleed chance. Duh. Duh, bleed chance. That generic bleed chance is very strong because it does not get reduced by Umbral Blade's reduction of chance for ailments, which ends up making it very good. Just a very large amount of ailment chance, making it effectively, I think, like 60% chance to bleed or something like that. It's a lot. All I know is a lot. Also, shh, don't tell anyone. Shh, shh, don't tell anyone. Shh, don't tell anyone. Shh. Putting on some MTX. Shh. Shh. I like my MTX. Shh. Don't tell anyone. I really like my MTX. Thank you. Don't tell anyone. I was gifted this MTX for my work on last Epoch, I'm going to abuse it. Here, this is where you would specialize the skill you're gonna start playing as. So this is like where I'd be like, okay, I'm gonna be playing like Blast Rain. Let me specialize Explosive Trap. Let me specialize, Detonating Arrow, etc. Right? But because of the fact that we're gonna be doing this, I'm just going to be specializing the Smoke Bomb, and I'm going to be grabbing Moonlight Bomb. I'm going to be grabbing this, and eventually we can grab these nodes for the more damage per Dust Shroud. We end up with a decent chunk of damage. I just simply did it this way because I don't like dying. So getting that Silver Shroud is pretty good. Guaranteed chance to dodge and Glancing Blow and dodge all in one package. Smoke Bomb has it all. Not what we want here. Yeah. Not what we want. That fire AoE that they do in a cone actually does decent damage, so stay away from that. You definitely don't want to be standing in that. More damage, thank you. All the more damage. The more damage you do, the more stats you can focus on defenses, which is nice. Just making sure we're not missing anything while we're at it, because I'm trying to remember exactly how we go about this, because we want as much oh yeah, concentration. Concentration is definitely next for sure. Really excited for Heartseeker though. Heartseeker is looking pretty good. I'm probably going to be league starting Heartseeker, unless if there's unannounced changes that I don't know about. But currently right now, it's looking very good. Better than what I'm wearing. Ow. As you can tell, that percent damage, like I said, I mean the fire cone does decent amounts of damage, so you just want to be out of it. I have movement speed shards. Can I get this? 1, 2, 3. Thank you. Beautiful. Lots of movement speed. Thank you. Beautiful, baby. 35% movement speed. What a good start. What a good start. Concentration, more damage if we haven't been hit recently, which is very good for of course, this build when we're trying to just not get hit, right? Not really much to talk about here, to be honest, man. Not really much to talk about. Just kind of zooming. Like I said, not really much to talk about. Pretty much almost done with the run at this point. I believe I do have a pre-made leveling filter, so we're probably going to end up yoinking that for this build. So I'll leave that in the description. I'm going to be making a video on filter making eventually. So if you want that, stay tuned. But right now, we're just probably going to use that one that I already played. Because remember, if you want to keep playing this build, I would suggest looking into the Bleed Hail of Arrows character that I played recently and play that. Now, of course, you know, might end up being Heartseeker, but you know, we gotta see more shit about that, right? I'm gonna grab this guy for later for our all of our passive points and stuff, right? And duration for our smoke bomb. Am I going the wrong way? I think I'm going the wrong way, actually. I believe I'm going the wrong way. Wrong way, Feldman. If you ever watched Gilligan's Island, you'll know what I'm talking about. God, I used to watch Gilligan's Island all the time when I was a kid, dude. I was just addicted to it. Same thing with like Alf, Punky Brewster. My parents made me watch some stuff when I was younger. Let me tell you, I watched all the old stuff. Land that time lost or whatever, Land Before Lost or whatever. The one with the dinosaur, shit like that, and the Enoch and all that shit. Not the movie with Will Ferrell. It was very sad, that movie, actually, because I watched the TV show and I was expecting the movie to be good, but then ended up just being a funny movie by Will Ferrell. And it was just like, I was a kid at the time, right? So I had no idea what was going on other than what the fuck am I looking at on screen. So yeah, definitely not the best thing to ever happen to me as a kid. This gold ring is what we want. That gold ring right there that the Nemesis had is like exactly what we want right now, dude. Also, this base has attack speed, but it's not worth putting on right now. But here, that's what you want to see early on. Lots of res for elemental types. Lots of percent health on that one. There you go. That's what I want to see. Beautiful. Already 700. That's a lot more health than I normally have as a marksman at this point. Just running through zones, nothing to talk about here. Pretty much just doing all the quests. At this point, you're pretty much just doing all the quests that it gives you up to a certain point, which I'll talk to you about when we get there. At this point, now we grab more stacks and mutilate because more HP. Eventually, you want to grab the attack speed nodes down here, rapid strikes. But if you're playing in hardcore, the HP sustain is significantly more important than the attack speed because not dying is not dying, man. I'm gonna grab this ring mail because it has elemental resistance that could help a lot here. We want as much elemental resistance as possible at this point because we just don't want to die, turns out. Now we need to find a place to put it. I'm not entirely sure right now. Don't really have a place to put it right now, but you know, whatever. Definitely want that Res eventually up and going. It's not dying to elemental damage would be great. Wait, what? Oh, shit. I had to kill the Imperial Watcher. Duh. I'm dumb. Ignore me. There you go. I'm dumb. I didn't even know that was a thing, that it was just sealed or whatever. I've never had that happen to me before. That's kind of funny. I've been playing this game for so long, never had that happen to me. Oh boy. So I got to do an Acolyte version, a Primalist version, and a Mage version, huh? Unfortunately, the Mage one's going to be insanely boring, but you know, it be how it be. Definitely don't want to be AFK when I'm trying to put in stuff. That would suck. More duration. Like I said, though, you'd use this slot where I'm putting Smoke Bomb. You'd use that for like whatever skill you're going to be swapping into so you can get it leveled by the time you're done, right? Very important. So here's the twins. This can be the end of Act 3. At least I like to call it Act 3. I kind of split it up into 3 portions of the camp, well, 4 portions. Now here, you want to actually get him to come over here. So you walk him like a dog. There you go. Beautiful. Because the idea here is we get them in the same spot. Throw down our totem there. So that they both can die at the same time. Look at that. Beautiful, right? So I got to make a time stamp. I got to make a... So this is an hour 58. And then make a snapshot of the character. Pretty happy with this leveling spec. This is about going as well as it should. Could obviously get insanely lucky with movement speed gear and stuff like that. But, you know, whatever you end up getting. Oh yeah. So this zone lags me a bunch. I don't know about you guys, but it lags me a bunch. So generally I found getting past this area with the raised bridges and stuff is very important for my lag. You generally want to get past this zone. Unfortunately, these enemies are very scary. Thankfully, movement speed helps out a lot here. Just run, run, run while you still can. Like I said, normally you could kill this stuff, but like I lag here a lot. For the past 3 to 4 years, I've been lagging and lagging and lagging and lagging and lagging. Lagging and lagging and lagging and lagging. Beautiful. Movement speed. Great. Speed me up, daddy. Ow. Jesus. Good thing I had all that resistance, huh? That was funny. Right. Time for the IMAX theater presentation. Why just take a chill pill? Ugh. You know, they could probably have used puppets and it'd be more interesting than this. Hey, look, I'm level 40. Thanks for the carry, Rot. Thanks for the carry here, Rot. What a chill dude. Thanks, buddy. Really cool of you, man. Like, dude, it's so nice having friends like this. Really happy to have a friend like you here, Rot. Hopefully nothing bad happens to you. Here, Rot, no! He got sent to the glue factory. You know what? That motherfucker deserves it. Him and Monolith, I fought him a lot in Monolith, and let me tell you, he's annoying as hell. Mainly because he likes to sit in the end of like the area. It's so fucking annoying, dude. It is so obnoxious. Thank you. Beautiful. Grab all those extra quests, and then we're gonna keep going. Cool. Nice. Wingaris are actually pretty difficult to deal with. They deal large portions of physical damage to your ass. So you generally want to get away from them. You definitely don't want to like be hit by them. There's a lot of Wingari that just do absurd amounts of physical damage, so make sure your physical resistance is close to cap when you're in the zone. This is why we build up so much sustain as well. It's because like these guys are gonna bonk me for half my HP if I let them hit me, especially with the Wingari brutes. So you definitely want to like not let them touch you at all. Yeah. More duration, good duration, right? Hey, gotta do that for the side quest for the dude's freaking, his, what do you call it? His Viagra, right? All right. Thank you. If you ever like look into that quest, actually, I think you're making him Viagra or something similar, right? I'm pretty sure you're making him Viagra, which is very entertaining. So the next boss we're going to be fighting, he's very difficult. He does a lot of damage in general, so like look at that. With all that physical resistance I have and he's still like waffle stomping me, like imagine if I didn't have damage, how that would have went, right? So, yeah. Stay safe out there, kiddos. Stay safe out there. That's a nice quiver. We use a little bit of a little bit of damage, but we gain a lot in like survivability, which matters way more right now. Our damage is through the roof, as you saw. We care way more about survivability at the moment, right? I don't care about damage right now. I care about not dying. Very, very important. So here, the twins, very notorious for killing people, mainly because of the avalanche that this guy does. I don't know why my Umbral Blades went off screen there. But thankfully, we do enough damage that it doesn't matter. Look at that. It's like as if Rogue is strong or something, guys. Isn't that crazy? Wow. Rogue's strong? Are you sure, man? I don't know. I think it's like a appropriate amount of power level for where we're at, right? Totally. Maybe one day he'll nerf Rogue. And maybe one day they'll nerf Rogue. Dude, maybe one day. Uh, these guys do a decent amount of cold damage, so you want to make sure you have a decent amount of resistance at this point for cold damage. You definitely don't want to be standing near them when they die because 10 of them could hit you and just murk you right then and there. So it's definitely like something you want to be very careful with. The bats also do a decent amount of damage over time. You're a rogue, you don't have that much defense against damage over time. You do eventually grab this, which is 10% less, but it's still not enough to like make you super tanky, right? Definitely not enough to make you super tanky. Thankfully, all of the investment in HP on our gear, all the investment in sustain, and all the investment in resistances is enough to make us not die. You're still deathless. Still deathless. Probably going to stay deathless, probably. Probably going to stay deathless, I'm pretty sure. Watch out for the tigers. The tigers do so much fucking damage. Stay away from the tigers. The tigers are demons. Actual demons, especially the rare tigers. I got lucky there wasn't a rare tiger there. Like it could have been a rare tiger and it was sucked hard and long cock. Stay away from the rare type. Stay away from the rare tigers. Sorry about that. Whew. Okay, we're good. Ooh, all that lag. Uh-oh. Not what I want to be seeing right now. This zone is not the area you want to be lagging in. Let me tell you right now, buddy. I'll put in those points later. As you can see, those cold projectiles, they can stack up pretty quickly and they can chain stun you, which is like really what you don't want at all. You don't want them to chain stun you. Trust me, it's a lot of damage. You don't want to be taking it. Goodness gracious, the lag. I can't restart my computer to get rid of the I can't restart the game to get rid of like all the lag because usually there's like memory leaks and stuff. Hopefully this is fixed next patch, but I've been saying that for the past 10 or whatever, right? But fucking definitely want to get away from it, get away from the lag, but of course, I can't do that when, I'm trying to record a long ass video, the whole VOD of me doing this. Come on, let me through. Thank you. Nice. Okay. Okay, one moment here. Okay, cool. Cool. Whoa, 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 whoa. Yeah, see what I mean though? Like, it takes just one stun to kill you. It only takes one stun to kill you, man. Whoa, 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 whoa. Come on, dude. Oh, come on. Only takes one stun, man. Only takes one stun. It only takes one stun, man. Only one. Goodness gracious. Only takes one stun, man. And then after this, you'd be grabbing rapid strikes. here, the bleed chance, here, then here duration. Get this nice juicy dodge. Okay, Tomb of Moroiditis. This is the end of the campaign for you for the most part. Care about speed, which I care about speed. Thank you. Goodbye, sir. Take that bow attack speed. Cool. Take the lance. Go here. And then now what we're going to do is we're going to go back through the campaign and grab all of our points that we don't have and shit like that. Grab all the passive points, grab all the idle slots. Then we can go to monoliths. Thank you. Give me all those juicy idle slots, baby. That's what we're doing all the side quests for. Thank you. Now, first step, go to Divine Era. Imperial Era. Go to Yulia's Haven. We're going to go finish the ring quest from, what's his name? Auric. Yep, Auric. Totally remember that. Cool. Very smooth run so far, though. Very tanky, all things considered, because I went for Mutilate. Usually I don't go for Mutilate when I'm doing softcore because it's not that big of a deal. But if you care about hardcore, this is how you go, dude. This is how you go. Hopefully my Primalist and my Mage and my Acolyte runs go just as well. I'll probably do a Sentinel run, but we'll see. Depends on what we look at. Cool. Oh god, the lag, please. For the love of God. So much lag, dude. Can't fix it now. Uh, I wouldn't put that on. It's not worth it. They're better off with just a chest with biz and like HP and dodge and stuff. Such a terrible chest piece that is. It is +2 to Umbral Blades, but Umbral Blades doesn't benefit too hard from plus levels, at least this version. Now we're gonna go towards the Sapphire Tablet. We're gonna finish this quest. If you talk to the chick in the middle there, where the Majasa is, where like the Oracle is, the Oracle's abode, you'll have this quest already, so you can just go and finish it. Cool. Slamma jamma. Slamma jamma. At this point, you kind of just turn your brain off, which is nice. You do want to walk in here, though, by the way, and get the waypoint for the temporal sanctum. The temporal sanctum is very important because you're going to use it to skip to Act 9 later on in a run. Not for this video, but for the run in general, right? More dodge. Beautiful, beautiful dodge. Then after this, we go to the Risen Lake. Oh, I forgot to. Well, you know what? I'll just do finish campaign as a thing. Yeah, I'm dumb. Well, it'll be fine as a timestamp, right? Yeah, only 21 minutes. Yeah, we're doing fine. We're doing just fine. Like I said, you go way faster. I just wanted to make sure I don't die. That's more important. Because if you're playing like hardcore for some reason, right? Very simple quests. Nothing too crazy. Just simply just run past everything. Boop. All right. I'll take that bow attack speed shard though. Thank you. And then now that we're in the ruin era, go to here to go kill a dragon, right? More dodge, baby. You want that flat dodge. You want it. Want all that flat dodge so that you don't get hit. That's what you want. Cool. Okay, then we go back to the ruined era, talk to the bald chick. Cool. It's all of our oh shit. That's all of our frickin' what is it called? Our idle slots. Now we're just getting the rest of our passive points. So one of them you need to go to the precipice and then walk this way. Talk to this bloke. Beautiful. Then go back to council chambers. Should have done this first, but like for speed's sake, but whatever, right? Then go through the last archive. Cool. Then we walk over here to Dinglewuss, Elder Urzra. Those gloves are useful, just not for this build. I would pick those up for leveling, but we're not going to for this character, right? Then we're going to go to the Divine Era, and then we're going to go all the way back to Fortress Walls, do a quick quest, and that's it for all the passives that we need. Cool. Grab this. Well, if it lets me. Beautiful. Grab this. Then that's it. That is it. I have all of our passive points, all of our idle slots. The campaign is quote unquote finished. You could go get the +1 to all attributes, but I really don't care. So here we're actually going to grab Bleed Hail of Arrows filter. I'll leave this down in the description. Do not use this filter until you're at this point, right? In my opinion, if you want to use a leveling filter, go right ahead. I just don't have one to give you, but I have an end-game filter for you to have. You can have my Bleed Hail of Arrows filter if you want. It'll be in the description. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go into the Monolith of Fate, and we're going to go kill ourselves an Abomination. So thankfully, this build is pretty good. Not only is it good for... not only is it good at the, of course, campaign, it is also very good for the endgame, turns out. Not that big of a deal. So simply just run through monos. Kind of just kill stuff as you go. Nothing too crazy. Nothing too crazy at all. Just kill stuff passively as you're walking around here. You want to, build them all up. There you go. Nothing too crazy. Trigger the thing here. Like I said, we're mainly trying to do this without dying, which is annoying when you're lagging to fuck like I am. But, whatever. We're trying. There you go. Beautiful. Monos are a little weird because you can lag a bunch and accidentally die, which sucks. More runes of ascendance. At this point, I'd be using quivers to try to go for the bleed hail of arrows quiver. Although if you're trying to plan on respecking into a different build, I would suggest doing whatever ends up being good for that build, right? Now, there is something to be said about resetting monos if you feel like you have a triple objective. I personally swap if I get a triple objective because I think they suck. I swap when I see Savage Gates because they suck, because they spawn the Wingari twins, and you don't want to be dealing with that while you're leveling. And I reset when I see a map filled with like very obnoxious poison or divine era mobs. Now, of course, sometimes you can't really do that because there's too many of those kinds of enemies in the mono, or you're in like a divine era mono or something like that. You really can't do it every single time, but you can at least try, right? You can at least try. Like I said, make sure to put your Umbral blades on like, the rares that you see. You can see very large amounts of passive XP generation as you run through the Monolith of Fate. Very nice. There you go. Very quick at doing them as well. Lots of extra movement speed from the concentration stuff. Very nice. Whew. Venom spires. The spires are fine, but they're definitely not the most safe things. It depends on what other enemies I got. Since it's just crabs and skeletons, right? I don't really care what's in this mono. This mono is like really easy because of the types of enemies that are in it, so it's not that big of a deal. But like usually Venom spires can lead to shenanigans, especially if you get stunned. When you get stunned, they suck. I can see though our mutilate, our HP when we use a skill or whatever is keeping us alive. Very nice. If you're gonna stay this specific build, trying to go for a Valdir's Chalice is a good idea, as the leech that it provides on top of just not dying is pretty good. Pretty good. Very nice being able to just run through the monos like this. At this point, you should be very close to getting access to Heartseeker. You're playing Heartseeker. I could have access to Hail of Arrows if I wanted to at this point. Pretty much, the world is your oyster at this point. Nothing too crazy. We're going to go for Thief's Quiver, more HP. We're playing hardcore. We're not playing softcore, or at least softcore adjacent. We're playing with the, whatever you call it, like this Deathless. That's what I care about. I care about the Deathless tag because people are gonna ask me for hardcore stuff. Here you go. This is what I would do for leveling, anyways. After this point, I really wouldn't play hardcore. I'm not a hardcore man, dude. I don't like hardcore, but people do want a deathless way to level. Nobody likes dying. I understand that. I don't like dying either, mind you. It's just in softcore, I don't have to stress out as much. And I have so much work to do constantly that it's way better doing it this way. Beautiful. Like I said, just spam through the monos, look for upgrades. Kind of the same thing that we've been looking for the entire time. Trying to look for movement speed, try to look for resistances, look for HP, look for bow attack speed, look for pretty much everything we've talked about at this point. Try to upgrade your items. I'm going to upgrade this poison res because poison's scary. Movement speed because I want to be faster. Physical resistance so I don't die. And we can put damage over time on this slot as well. I don't know if we have any damage over time. We should. I think we do. Poison is. I don't think we got damage. Oh, here's some. There you go. Beautiful. Damage over time at this slot here. Percent damage is good. Gonna upgrade this armor. Gonna upgrade this dodge. Might as well. Here, I don't know if I got anything. We are gonna put vitality here, because not only does it give us necrotic resistance, it gives us HP. Pretty much just fill out everything that you possibly can while you can. We're gonna use a glyph of chaos on this poison damage. Bull lightning, not what we wanted. Ellie res is beautiful right here. Beautiful hit there. Now we can be very close to capping out our resistances for the most part. Very close already, which is nice. Of course, like I said, looking for damage, looking for a better bow at this point. The bow that we put on was like the bow we had in Act 2, if I'm not mistaken. So I would like to upgrade that. Definitely want to kill these lizards as they have good loot inside of them. Nomad Quiver, that could be really good. Watch out for those explosions from those guys. It could be disgusting. That's the kind of bow we're looking for. Grab that necrotic resistance. Necrotic res is something that will kill you this early on, so you definitely want to be looking out for that. Very close to what we want. Like, it works. We use a little bit of damage over time and some bleed chance, but you get a lot of bow attack speed, which I think is superior. Bow attack speed's really good in general. Use a little bit of percent damage here, though, unfortunately, but that's fine. Grabbing Thief's Quiver because we want HP. As much HP as possible, right? Come on, cat. I'm sorry. No, no, this is not the time, cat. This is not the time. Please don't ruin my run. Don't ruin my run. It's been like 2 hours. Come on. Thank you. Sorry about that, cat. I will give you some cuddles and some kisses later. Not right now. This is not the time. Not when I'm trying to do monos. I will give you some food in a moment. There, kiddo. We're almost done. Thank you. Beautiful. Okay, gonna grab this node eventually to grab rapid strikes. I'm gonna grab this node for the damage per dust shroud. Then we're gonna grab this Bazooka's hesitation for the more damage. Going to the next mono. Sorry about the cat. Gets a little annoying when I'm not spending 24/7 with her. She always does the I'm gonna walk in front of your monitor. Har har har. Look at me. Very annoying. I love her though, so I can't complain. I'm gonna go give her some food and cuddle with her after this. It's just, I want to make this one continuous clip and not like sparse it or whatever. So that's why we're doing it this way. Yeah, I lost a little bit of percent damage there. I'm a little unfortunate about that, but I like my attack speed. Attack speed is goated, dude. Said more HP. All we care about right now is getting as tanky as possible so that nothing kills us. That's all that could ruin this run at this point, is if we accidentally died for no reason. Look at that. Fire damage. Lots of fire damage. Fast, too. Fast. Not what we want to be seeing right now. Great if, like, I don't know, bit of like, yeah, there you go. Cool. Might as well grab the puncture bleed chance. Lots of extra damage for free. Vitality, 4 vitality. I guess it's fine. It's more HP, man. That's what we want. We don't want to grab that percent base crit. Dread was a dumbass. Don't grab that. Bad idea. Don't do that. That's an arena. Arenas take absurdly long. Not worth your time. So we're just going to go to Imperial War Camp here. Definitely do not want to touch arenas as they're annoying. Very, very, very annoying. They take up all your time and give you nothing. This is one of those monos where you get spammed with a bunch of garbage. Normally, I would reset one of these, but there's a chest. A chest right there. Thank you, Runesmith. Of course, I would use this to get a unique, hopefully the bleed quiver if you're playing bleed hail of arrows, or whatever build you're trying to play, whether that be like the dagger stuff. Like, there's a lot of different things you could be playing right now at this point, to be honest with you. Yeah, look at this, all this garbage on my screen right now. We're gonna use a, there you go. Using a decoy there is really good. Like, goodness fucking God, look at my screen. See what I mean about some of these monos, dude? Not something you want to be dealing with in hardcore, huh? But it is a lot of XP, so, you know, sure. Lots of lag, too. Holy, dude. I don't like that lag. But we did it anyways. Turns out to bleed Umbral Blades is pretty strong. Here, fuck. Like, probably spec into shurikens to grab the armor shit, but like, I don't know. I'm just gonna leave this unspecialized, to be honest with you. Damage while wielding a bow, that's a good start. Bleed on bow hit, that's also a good start. The damage while wielding a bow is pretty good. Lots of extra damage. Poison res is pretty good. Also, I was missing some fire res, so cool. Lots and lots of resistance. More HP because we're rogues are squishy bitches. Oh my goodness, the lag. Please leave me alone, lag. Like I said, I would swap into Bleed Hail of Arrows at this point. Then your clear would get a lot better, but I'm going to stay as Umbral Blades because I'm going to assume that you're not going to swap into Bleed Umbral Blades. You're going to like swap into whatever build you want to play. All right, this fizz damage over time is pretty good. Lots of extra damage. We're going to want as much percent damage as possible on our gear because we're trying to not grab it on our tree because we're trying to grab as much HP as possible on our tree, right? Like this percent health idol is pretty good. We want to like grab as much chunk and damage as possible. At least that's the idea. You definitely want to kill the purple ones because they could end up giving you pretty good items like movement speed boots, just good items in general. Troika's Teeth, apparently that's getting buffed next match. It's going to turn all of the bleed chance that you get from puncture into frostbite chance. It's actually pretty good. Makes frostbite rogue a viable option in the end game instead of being terrible. Makes it a lot more interesting, to be honest. Definitely a lot better. There's a lot of frostbite shenanigans you can do because of that. You can play frostbite multi-shot, frostbite like hail bleed, I mean frostbite explosive trap. There's a lot of stuff you can do with that, so that's gonna be cool. Frostbite definitely isn't like the best ailment ever, but it has decent unique support. Cool. Hey, it's Catalyst. Cool. Stygian. Nice. All right. Kate, we can fight the boss. Time for boss fight time. Woohoo! Only about 3 hours. It's actually not that bad. It's a little bit slower than I would like it to be, but you know, like I said, we're trying to do this deathless. As you can see, still deathless. Don't stand in those necrotic dot pools. They do a lot of damage. Even with me being almost necrotic res capped, they still do absurd amounts of damage, by the way. Oh, lag. Don't like the lag, especially with these profane fleshes and stuff running around, right? Definitely not what I want to be feeling right now. More HP from things cover because tankiness matters way more than damage right now. Oh god, it's so laggy. Holy please. I just want to do this in one recording, man. Don't do this to me. It'd be great if I could do this in one recording. Can't wait till I'm playing Avalanche and I'm really causing lag on my PC, dude. Snowblind isn't worth putting on at this point. Oh, there's so much lag. Oh, beautiful. Attack speed, uh, or damage, damage, damage. So here, these guys, there's a bunch that pops out at this point. You don't want to just kind of sit here and mow them down. So the upcoming portion of this quest part is very sketchy because things do a lot of damage here. So you want to like kind of use your decoy and then like not die. Because those enemies, like they can gang up on you and kill you pretty quickly if you're not careful. Very disgusting enemies in general. Don't want to stand in the desecrated fleshes AoEs, man. Want to be killing every lizard you get access to, though, as well. Okay. Very close to A-bomb. I can smell it. Oh boy, here's some more lag. Speaking of lag. Oh, fuck. This is so much lag, dude. There you go. Apparently you didn't kill everything there. Unfortunate. Where are they? There, it's one dude. God dang it. Uh, Ow, get away from me. Holy crap. Thank you, please. I just wanted to look at the item that was on the ground. Thank you. Oh, oh, remember, it only takes a lag and a stun to kill you. Oh, even more lag. Woohoo. Me wanting to do this in one long continuous recording is like going to be the end of me, to be honest. Where is he? There he is. Get him, boys. There you go. All right, Alter Flesh. Here we go. The end. Kill all the soul vessels. Beautiful. Beautiful. And then now A-Bomb himself. Hi, buddy. All right, he's dead. We're good to go. All right, that's going to be it for this video. If you want to continue this character, I'll be leaving a link down in the description for the Bleed Hail of Heroes Marksman. This will also be good leveling spec to get access to, of course, Heartseeker eventually as well. Now, of course, if you haven't already, I heavily suggest leaving a like in the video and subscribing to the channel. You could also use this to level any rogue. At this point, you should have enough gold for mastery respec. I'm not entirely sure exactly how much currency it'll take, but definitely won't be that much. Now, all that being said, remember to use these two skill specialization slots to like specialize in the skills. Use the trios you want. I just want to do Deathless, so bye guys.